I'm Chronix from the most extreme wrestling, and this is your AEW All Out 2019 review. This took place live in Chicago, August 31st, 2019, and I have my very special Chicago cup full of coffee for my refreshments here. I was lucky enough to go to Chicago last year. I had always loved that town since I was a little kid, been fascinated with the landmarks and the museums, and I was able to go for about a week. I stayed in South Chicago in a hotel, which was a really old, authentic house, which was awesome. I loved that. I walked to the L train and went about the city on foot or on the L train the entire trip. It was amazing. I wish I could have been there for this event because this was pretty nice. And I know I made a prediction that CM Punk would debut, but that didn't happen. But it didn't matter because this show didn't even need it. I'm going to briefly talk about the buy-in here. We had the 21-woman casino battle royal, which Nyla Rose walked out as the victor. I don't think very many people would be surprised by that. They've really positioned her as to be somebody who at least is going to be in the title contention or win the title right out. The way they have this structured is Nyla Rose has won this battle royal, so she is qualified to go in to the title match. And later tonight we will find out who will be facing Nyla Rose October 2nd, live on TNT. Next we have Private Party versus Angelico and Jack Evans. And all I want to say about this is Mark Quinn of Private Party, holy crap, that dude is freaking talented. It just blew me away. All of these guys, for sure, and Private Party I just was very impressed with, but holy crap, Mark Quinn, he really stood out to me. When we actually got to the show starting, we kicked it off with the national anthem being sung. They even had pyro going off in the background, so those singers out there were very, very professional to be able to sing, stay in tune while they have pyro going off behind them. If they have ever sung the national anthem for WWE, which I'm sure they haven't, there wouldn't be any pyro. Well, maybe at WrestleMania they might do that, but probably not pyro that was so close to them. I would have been crapping my pants, I think, if I had pyro going off behind me, and I'm pretty sure I couldn't sing in tune even if I was in complete silence. Regardless, they do this. People give a big USA, USA chant. So a nice way to start off the night. We got our commentary team. This masked commentator dude fumbles through the introduction, which was kind of brutal. Maybe it's hard to read a teleprompter when your face is covered up. I don't know. It's a minor mistake, but dang, when the first couple of sentences that come out of the commentator's mouth on a big pay-per-view is all jumbled up and fumbling over yourself, oh, it's not a good look. I will say that this show compared to All In, this show from a production standpoint, from a commentary standpoint, was much more solid. The mistakes here in this show were way further apart and way fewer. So AEW is improving with every showing, as you would expect, but it is nice to see that that is actually the case, especially going into their Wednesday night weekly show on TNT. To have this firm of footing so early is very promising. So we start off with SCU, and I don't really understand. They're supposed to be heels, but everybody loves them, and they chant with them, and they play with the crowd. I guess I'm more old school, and I think that's kind of weird, but the fans like it, and I'm sure if I was there, I would be doing the same, chanting along and whatnot. So I guess it's all in good fun. That's what we're going for. They took on the Jurassic Express, which just the name, I just started laughing. How could anyone have predicted that this would be a wrestling team name? But we have Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, and Marco Stunt. Jungle Boy, I love his look. I don't even know what else you could call him. He just looks like a Jungle Boy to me. Luchasaurus looks impressive. I've seen him on local shows, and he's very impressive. I really like his look. It's very different. I know people like Jim Cornette make fun of it, but what does Jim Cornette know? No, Jim Cornette actually does know a lot, but sometimes I think he just says things to get reactions out of people, especially when it comes to Marco Stunt. He talks about this man a lot, and Marco Stunt is awesome. I don't care if people like Jim Cornette or whoever else wants to say, well, Marco Stunt's too short, he's too small, he doesn't belong in a wrestling ring, yada yada, blah 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 blah. He's from around my area. I've seen him several times over the past 5-6 years, and yeah, this dude is good. He's been in main events, he's been in title matches, he's been on pay-per-view, he's been in AEW. They got AEW's attention. I mean, come on. If that's all you're caring about is the stature, you're looking in the wrong place, because if you could see the charisma and you could see the personality, you would see that it towers over anything else. And the crowd ate him up, so you got to give these people a chance, is all I'm saying. But SCU, they walk away with the victory, and Marco's Stunt, he gets pinned. But SCU gives them respect. So I think that that's pretty cool that they would do that there. Now we got Pac versus Omega. And I don't know what I was expecting going into this match, but it definitely surpassed my expectations. Both of these guys are very good, but still, they just had a tremendous match that I'm probably going to go back and watch again today. A couple of these matches that happened tonight, some of the brutality of these matches were shocking to me. They started off trying to one-up each other, and I liked that kind of psychological gameplay, trying to act like, yeah, I'm better than you, and I'm going to show you. So that was an interesting dynamic that played through the match. Now the barricades on the show seemed extremely close to the ring. I know the WWE has spread out, and their stuff is very far apart, and their guardrails are super padded. But here it's less the case, and it is much more confined. There was a spot where Pac does this moonsault and hits his leg and ankle on the barricade, and I thought, there's no way he didn't break his leg or seriously injure himself. I thought that that was it. And you could tell that he was very frustrated, and you could even tell that Omega was very concerned about the way that happened. There was another spot that just blew me away here. They had an electric chair. Dude is an electric chair, and it gets turned into a German suplex. I was like, what? How strong do you have to be? How in control of your body do you have to be to just do that? It was really inspiring to see stuff like this, but we get Omega, he's in this submission hold, and then Pac ends up winning the match because Omega couldn't continue. The referee stops the match. So it kind of sounds like that's not the end of this one. The commentators really comb this one over and say, hey, Kenny Omega, he went in there and he made mistakes, and it cost him the match. So it wasn't so much Omega just got beat and he got beat and that's it and we move on. It was more of, yeah, he made a couple of mistakes. Maybe he got a little bit overzealous. Maybe he just thought that he was gonna take care of Pac a little easier than he anticipated, but either way, that's the way they presented it. Next we go into the Cracker Barrel Clash. They got barrels, they got biscuits, but but they ain't got no rocking chairs. So I don't know how you're going to call it a Cracker Barrel clash if you ain't got the giant oversized checker pieces and that game that you play with the triangle and the... I don't even know what that is. I don't even know how to play that. I just know when I go to Cracker Barrel, I get me some coffee and I'm like, that's lukewarm. And I get my breakfast on. Cracker Barrel, it's all right. I don't even go there that often. But it was making me rather hungry watching this show. I started thinking, I wonder if they deliver. But, what? How is that? No. Oh, no. That ain't happening, sir. I gotta pop this little breaker back on because I need my lights. Thank you very much, sir. Exactly. Okay. Now we're gonna move on. Now that I have lights once again, because this match right here, the Cracker Barrel Clash, has the participants of Darby Allin and Joey Janela and Marilyn Manson. I mean, Jimmy Havoc. He just really looked like Marilyn Manson when he came out. And Jimmy Havoc, I guess his name fits him, because this man is a freaking maniac. I was sitting there thinking, why is he doing this? He's gonna kill himself. I think that every time. He must either be completely batshit crazy, or he must be great at his craft. Either way, I'm still intrigued. And yeah, you can't give him any other name than Havoc is all I'm saying. He's got a staple gun. He even staple guns his shirt to himself. Why? Why do people do things like that? It's like I wouldn't staple a microphone to my body. I would just attach it normally. I don't know, man. I feel like you need some help in the brain area is all I'm saying. There was a spot where they taped Jimmy Havoc to a chair. And I guess they were doing this because the man is so dangerous. So I thought that that was actually a good idea. That seems like something that they would do with Mick Foley. And I said thumbs up to that. But what it didn't say thumbs up to was the thumbtacks. They bring out some thumbtacks and kind of, some of them are falling on the ground. And I'm like, what the hell are they going to do with some thumbtacks? They put thumbtacks in Jimmy Havoc's mouth and then tape it shut. Why? If he actually was sitting there with thumbtacks taped in his mouth, dude, that is... So many things could have gone wrong with that. And even like that they said on commentary, you swallow one thumbtack and that's all you need, right? I don't even think for any amount of money I would do something like that. I mean, sitting there is one thing, but if you get bumped or somebody hits you or say a fan falls on you or anything, you cough, you could swallow one of those and it was making me super uncomfortable, but that's what they did. But once Havoc gets out of there, first, Janela, he pulls out a tennis racket, looks at it, and it just like throws it away. So I don't know if that was a jab at Jim Cornette. I feel like it has to be because of all the stuff Jim Cornette has said about people. He's hilarious, but man, he can hate on somebody in a quick minute. Havoc cuts Janela's web of his fingers. And let me tell you something. I've had that happen to me very badly. I had a piece of metal that I had cut and it was the worst feeling ever. I have a bad scar. Actually, no. I actually was stabbing something and it went through my hand. Not somebody or whatever. I was trying to open a package, and I know that sounds like the stupidest thing somebody could do. And it was. And I don't recommend it. It opened that package, but it also opened my hand. And holy crap, I have a scar that is still visible more than a decade later. Ouch. So he does this. He even cuts open the corners of dude's mouth like he's the Joker or something. And I know that they weren't really doing that, but damn, just makes my nerves, is what I'm saying. And they even had a branded AEW piece of paper. I don't know where they got that piece of paper. I don't know what the significance of that was or if they just found it. But I thought it was funny that they couldn't just use a regular piece of paper. They had to use an official AEW licensed piece of paper that I'm sure that they can auction off. I would totally sign that and auction it off if I was this dude, Jimmy Havoc. Whew. So they get a pan of biscuits. It goes to the face. There's biscuits everywhere. There's bodies everywhere. Bodies and biscuits. People start chanting, "We want barrels." I myself was thinking, oh, excuse me, when are they going to bring out the barrels in this match? They're there. I'm thinking they're going to have to be used. I thought that these were going to be the super hard barrels that don't move, but maybe not the case. I thought that they were going to use these barrels to maybe prop up a table a little higher than normal and put someone through them. But that is not what happens. First of all, we get Darby Allin. He comes out there with a skateboard with thumbtacks glued to the bottom or spikes. I couldn't really tell. I saw that some of them came off. And Darby Allin does an ass drop into the steps with a barrel attached to his bum. This dude is going to fly through the air, land on another dude with a barrel attached to his backside. But dude moved. Darby Allin goes through ass first through a barrel. I don't know how many people in this world can say they've gone ass first with a barrel onto steel steps. But Darby Allin can. That is absolutely for sure. Havoc gets that barrel crushed. He does that acid rainmaker through the barrel. First he's trying to do a suplex through it, but only halfway broke the barrel as only a foot went through it. But after that acid rainmaker, Havoc wins the match. So bravo to him. That was a crazy hardcore match. And I guess Cracker Barrel doesn't care that it was so violent. It seems like that's not something that a corporation would necessarily be okay with. But hey, they did it anyways. Next we go on to the Dark Order versus the Best Friends. Now, 3/4 of this match, it was kind of so-so to me. I felt like this match was kind of a give you some room to breathe. I'm not saying it was bad. It was much slower paced. As far as the action, I would say, compared to some of these other matches. And I feel like you kind of need that to kind of chill the crowd out before you make them rise up once again. But once they get past that mark, the rest of that match was crazy. I was trying to take notes and just stay on top of it, but I was watching it and I really enjoyed it, and I think that's the most important part about it. They do this Ace Crusher combo that wins it for the Dark Order, and hey, this Ace Crusher, this RKO, whatever you want to call it, I feel like this move, my main criticism of this whole pay-per-view is that this was used as a finish more than once, and the commentators each time didn't act like they knew exactly what to call the move, which kind of annoyed me. So I feel like either we're going to establish that this Ace Crusher is just as common as a DDT, and we're going to name it as such, or it's going to be a tag team finish or a singles finish, and they're gonna have to say why it is being used by this person and that person, or probably more so of give it a name that you can call it. Because if it's gonna end the match, you definitely should have that. And I mean, that wasn't the case here, but it did happen later where they were like, oh, this is the Ace Crusher combination. Okay, is that what you're gonna call it? But after that, the lights go out and Orange Cassidy comes out. The last time I saw Orange Cassidy, I just kind of was like, what? The dude's gimmick is he's a lazy wrestler, he has his hands in his pockets and he wears sunglasses? I don't get it. But the lights go out, comes back on, people love it, and he runs, hands in his pockets, jumps onto the creepers outside with the Dark Order, and that was that Cassidy leaves with the best friends. Are they going to be together? The commentary kind of positions it as if they're going to be a trio from now on, but I guess we'll have to wait until October 2nd to see if that is actually the case. But I'm going to say that Orange Cassidy grew on me a little bit. I think that gimmick is silly, and because I think that they're just positioning it as more of a comedy thing, I don't really have a problem with it. He didn't do anything that seemed implausible, so I didn't really have a big problem with it. It does seem weird and silly from a broad perspective, but the way they've done it, I can't necessarily say that it's a bad thing. So we're going to continue to the women's match here. We got Shida versus Riho. And this match right here is for the match that is going to take place October 2nd. The winner of this match is going to take on Nyla Rose on Wednesday, October 2nd on TNT. And I almost fumbled through that as badly as the commentary did. But that is the match that they're going to have here. And Riho surprised with the victory, or at least that's what the commentary said. I liked the match. I thought it was good, and I'm excited that they have women wrestlers like this. I'm excited that women's wrestling has evolved to a point where it's just, you expect their matches to be badass every time with no exception, and you were rarely disappointed. And I wasn't disappointed here either. The commentary was saying that this was a surprise win for Riho, but from just the vantage point of watching the match from bell to bell, it didn't seem like it was too shocking that she won. She seemed to me that she just had as much of a chance as Shida did. Either way, Shida didn't walk out the victor. So on October 2nd, it is going to be Riho versus Nyla, and that's what you got. And I expect Nyla Rose to win the crap out of that title. Moving on, we have complete silence as Shawn Spears makes his entrance. He's got his hoodie down. He looks like a stone cold killer. He raises his hood up. He's got the blue ice eyes. He just has this very cold demeanor, and I'm like, damn, Thing McFrost. That's exactly what Stone Cold was describing back in the day. So I guess if Stone Cold's gimmick took an alternate turn, instead of becoming what he did, to me, this is the same gimmick, except, you know, from the embryo stage, it went this way, whereas Stone Cold went that way. So he's an ice cold, kind of remorseless serial killer. He just had that just cold, dead stare. Ice cold feelings, you know, that kind of stuff. And I really liked it. Shawn Spears asked for his release, what was it, earlier this year from WWE? They gave it to him, and here he is in AEW, and I do believe he made the right decision. He didn't leave on horrible terms or anything. From all accounts that I've seen, he asked for it, and they respectfully gave it to him, and he was very grateful for his time, and he appreciated everything that happens, but it was time for him to go. And he went. And here he is taking on Cody Rhodes. Now, Cody Rhodes walks down to the ring, and he has the Star Trek theme thing, which I loved. You had, what was it, DDP? He was dressed as a red shirt, kind of Next Generation style stuff. You had Brandy Rhodes as 7 of 9, and you had MJF as... He had a yellow shirt on, so I don't know if he was supposed... I don't know what he was supposed to be, like an engineering guy or something, if you were going to put it into Star Trek terms. Was he wearing yellow? I'm pretty sure he was. And then Cody Rhodes joined them. He's like the captain of the team and came down there. And don't forget that in Shawn Spears' corner, he has Tully Blanchard. So... yes, we have them come out with that entrance. I loved it, and Cody Rhodes means business. He goes right after Shawn Spears, which I thought that was great. And another thing, JR said this isn't something that was thrown together in a meeting, this match. And there was something else said earlier, I think about a tag match, where they said the same thing. And I thought that was funny because it is definitely a jab at WWE, where some of the times, especially on television, matches that they have don't make any sense why they're happening. They're just happening. So JR made the call on that. And we got Earl Hebner. He does his Earl Hebner thing where he gets in Shawn Spears' face, which I thought was great. The intensity of this match was awesome. Another match that I'm going to have to go back and watch. Man, Cody Rhodes is killing it. If anyone thought that Cody Rhodes wasn't a main eventer or couldn't be, you got to see a match like this, or the one that he had with his brother, with Dustin Rhodes, because I've been saying forever he should be WWE champion when he was back there, way back there. That he had that. Even though he was still young at the time and he might have been a little bit green then, you could just see it. You could see his charisma and you could see his abilities. It was just ready. It was just ready to happen. I mean, if they could start so early with Randy Orton and then make him go to the heights that he's been, I saw absolutely no reason you couldn't do the same thing with Cody Rhodes. But you know what? It didn't happen. And Cody Rhodes, being the man that he is, he made that happen for himself. So big props to him. But this match, it was a very entertaining match. There was a spot where Tully starts attacking MJF, which I thought was hilarious, and then Double A comes down and hits the spine buster on who did he hits it on? Shawn? Yeah, I think that's right. I watched this last night and I had to go to sleep because, man, I was so freaking tired. I did not want to make my review being super tired. And it just made me think about WrestleMania 18, where, was it 18 or 19? Crap, why can't I remember? There was a spot where he was facing it was The Undertaker versus Ric Flair. So was that 18? He hits the spine buster in that match, and I was like, yeah, I was so freaking excited. So it was cool to see him come down all these years later and, still be able to hit that spine buster. So that was definitely a treat for the fans older than me, even though I love old Double A. He's still before my time. But Cody Rhodes, he pays tribute to his father, does a little bit of this on the forehead, and Cody Rhodes, in defining fashion, he wins. And I thought that was really cool. MJF even gives props to Cody Rhodes. I'm giving props to Cody Rhodes. Everybody's giving props to Cody Rhodes. Now we got the ladder match. It's the Lucha Bros versus the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks come to the ring. They're wearing a mask, basically making fun of the Lucha Bros. They got confetti. They kind of look like piñatas. They do a little pose off. Young Bucks spit in the face of the Lucha Bros. And this match, they did not start going for ladders and start brutalizing each other right off the bat. So I was like, okay, well, maybe this is going to be a little more subdued match. Oh no, give it time. It gets brutal and it gets crazy. They do these double spears through double tables outside on opposite members. So you have one member of one team on top with the other team's member on the other, going against their opponents at the same time. And I thought that was an interesting way to do that. So I had to give them super big props for that. This match was just crazy. You got two ladders. They jump from opposite sides through the tables. Pentagon gets his freaking mask removed, which I thought was just great psychology. Somebody's trying to get the title and they're a luchador, take the mask off. They're not going to be trying to get that title. They're not going to grab the title even if they could and pose with it because their mask is taken off. They have to get their mask back on. It is like their kryptonite. I thought that was just a very smart way of framing the situation for sure. But even with all of that, the Lucha Bros, they walk away and they're still the tag champs. Masked men come down to the ring. This is the third set of masked men that we've seen in this match, but it's post-match, and we have Bill Clinton and Kennedy. Well, what the heck? Who are these people? They take off their mask, and it is LAX. I mean, the Boricuas, not the Los Boricuas, which when they said Boricuas, I was like, huh? But no, LAX. Moving on to the main event, it's Hangman Page versus Jericho. Page comes down to the ring on a horse, and his mom and dad, his family, are ringside, and it made me feel just happy and excited. I was like, oh man, this is a big freaking time. This is a big match. This is a big moment. And he's got his family ringside, and he's coming down on a horse. You know that they had to have been immensely proud. And I'm sitting here thinking, Hangman Page is winning the championship. There's no way he's not winning this title here. I guess we'll see. Jericho comes out, and he's got his whole scarecrow gimmick that he has, which I like. He's older now, and I think it fits. And he looks in better shape than he was during All In. So I think that is definitely improvement. I just didn't think he was in the best of shape at that time. So it's good to see him in much better shape here. We have Aubrey Edwards as the female referee here, and I thought that was awesome. First women's referee in a main event of a pay-per-view with men wrestling. I'm telling you, once again, this is an example. WWE is behind the times when it comes to progressive ideas. There's no reason why you can't have a woman as a referee. There's no reason why you can't have women commentators. And of course we do have that nowadays, but there's no reason why you can't have transgender wrestlers. There's no reason why you can't have all kinds of things. It just shows me that WWE is scared to go there. They're scared to go into the transgender areas. They're scared to explore those type of situations. And AEW isn't. And that is one thing that I absolutely respect about this company, is that they will go there. And that's very important, especially for times like these, when these are real issues, and if they're not going to be explored and addressed in wrestling, I think that's a mistake. Wrestling, to me, has explored issues in the past, and ideas and concepts and people, and applied it to stories, told stories, and I just think it's a mistake to exclude something that is real life. Yeah. Moving on. This match was the main event, and it absolutely deserved to be, because holy crap, Jericho is busted open. It feels like Jericho is kicking out of everything, but Hangman Page was putting on a hell of a performance. And damn, this guy's a main eventer. This guy should be champion, but you know what? Things didn't happen that way. Jericho ended up winning. You can add this to the immense list of championships and accomplishments and first times that Jericho has done. I mean, first ever WWE undisputed champion and all this. Well, now he's the very first AEW champion, and he's going in to Wednesday nights as the AEW champion. And this is big. This is really big. I would have liked it to be Hangman Page, but maybe they feel like this gives the company more of an edge because you have a more well-known name as the champion. You absolutely have somebody who can talk his head off. And you have a challenger in Hangman Page who can fight to earn that. And he can earn it in front of a worldwide television audience on TNT. And I believe that that is a great idea. That is absolutely a great position to put yourself in, where you can prove in front of the world that you actually belong. And then when you do win, with the support of the television audience that you've grown over those weeks, it'll make that win so much more impactful. And when you come back, Hangman Page, on Wednesday night after a big pay-per-view win, I feel that you'll be more well embraced by the crowd and by the people who are watching on the internet or whatever the case is. I think as a whole, it is a much better way to come off showing who Hangman Page is and really building him and showing you this is the man that is the AEW champion. I hope you enjoyed the show. I don't know how you couldn't, because I most certainly did. There was very few places that I even had any kind of, oh, what's that, or what are they doing? No. Through and through, a very good show. Very much enjoyed it, and has very good replayability. This is something I think in the future people are going to look back very fondly on and go back and watch the whole show just to see how it happened. How AEW was right before they started their historic night, Wednesday nights, October 2nd on TNT, with their brand new weekly episodic show. I hope you enjoyed this review, and I will catch you guys next time.